Hello you guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I wanted to talk to you about something that is a total passion of mine, and it may be one of yours too, you just don't know how to achieve it, which I didn't either. It's taken me lots of years, lots of honing things, all kinds of trial and error. So I wanted to go over today how I've figured out how to make my home the place that I want to be more than anywhere else. If that sounds like something that you're interested in, give this video a thumbs up, and I would love to have you as part of the community. So subscribe and share. Anyway, all the things, but let's get into the video. So I want to start with where I'm coming from with this. I grew up in a house that was always really dark, really dirty, the kind of dirty that had like moldy dishes and moldy laundry and that kind of thing. I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus. It doesn't matter why it happened or whatever. That's just where I'm coming from with this. So this was a passion of mine, that my house wouldn't be that house. And so this is kind of just some tips on how to achieve that, how to achieve, where company comes over and they feel welcome, where it's like when you come home, it's the best place ever. That's what I want for you. So I'm just going to give you a handful of tips, and at the end, those of you who stay to the end, I will show you a couple of my favorite rooms of my house. So very first, number one, is to declutter. And I know everybody, people roll their eyes and they think, good grief, decluttering, come on. It's the truth though. That's why everybody says it. It's because your environment has so much to do with how you feel. Mentally, even physically, when you're looking around your house and everywhere you look, your brain is logging all of the stuff that needs to be done. That is exhausting before you've ever even, say, gotten up off the couch or gotten out of bed or whatever. If your bedroom has clothes everywhere, and maybe you even have a whole bunch of clothes on your bed next to you while you're sleeping, those kinds of things really affect our mental state. And so if we can get rid of a lot of clutter, just start with one room in your house, right? The kitchen's probably the best place to start, mainly because you want to be able to cook in there and function and stand there and have a cup of coffee with your husband or, whatever. You want to be able to eat at your kitchen table. That's where I would start. And I have to warn you, once you get on a roll with decluttering, man, you are just getting rid of stuff. And sometimes you may get rid of something that you may have wanted to keep or whatever the case may be. But generally, it's fine. I mean, you may go, oh, darn. But as a general rule, you're not going to lose sleep over it. You may just be like, oh, but it's not going to be a catastrophe. You can replace it. If you need it is the thing. Most times you don't need it. Oh, there's my teapot. Hold on. Okay, guys, I got my tea. There's nothing more cozy than coffee or tea, right? Okay. So, with the decluttering, what I was saying is if the best way I know to start this is, like I said, in the kitchen, but also most of the time, a lot of us have dining room tables that are crazy cluttered. There's stuff all over them. The counters are a mess, so it's hard to cook in there. So, with the decluttering, what I would say is to start with decluttering what you can't see in the cupboards and the drawers. The reason is because a lot of times the stuff that's out on the counters is there because there's nowhere to put it. Well, there's nowhere to put it because a whole bunch of very important real estate is plugged up with stuff that we don't want, we don't need, we don't even know what there is. So that's what I have to say about decluttering. It's kind of a pain, but once you get into the rhythm, it fixes the whole thing. Number 2 thing that I would say for having a home you want to be in is clean it. I don't mean within an inch of its life, pulling out all the furniture. I don't mean all of that. What I mean is to give it that extra sparkle, right? I'm one of those people where I'm not going to clean it unless it smiles back at me, right? Unless it's going to shine. I'm going to put a shine on it. Now, there's certain things that we have that aren't going to shine. However, everything looks better when it's dusted, when the layer of dust is taken off. The floors look better when they're clean. Not necessarily mopped. Yeah, mop them if you want to, but I'm just saying if they're vacuumed, if the layer of dust is taken off, maybe spot mop it a little. We're just going for the feeling. All the deep down nitty gritty, that's for a completely different video. This is just the way it feels. The messages that are sent to our brain. So if our brain doesn't see a whole bunch of things that need to be done, it doesn't automatically give us all of those, panic messages. And so that's what I'm trying to avoid. I'm trying to avoid this needs to be done, the constant bombardment. So if we can keep things tidy, we've decluttered, now we've cleaned, maybe we put a little spit and polish here and there to make things kind of a little more shiny. Everything looks nicer. When you think of someplace that's very luxurious, maybe you've stayed at a really cool Airbnb or a really nice hotel. If you think about it, everything is in its place and everything is clean and tidy, right? That gives us such a sense of relaxation. That I want that for you too. And that is going to require that we put in, depending on how the house is, quite a bit of effort. Now we can do that in stages. We can do a little bit here and there each day. We can incorporate some of these things either into a morning routine, an afternoon routine, evening routine, depending on whether you work at home or work outside of the home, whatever the case may be. You get the idea. Just put it into your daily routine. Number 3, I would say, is having the things at home that you need to have. I know that sounds dumb. It sounds kind of like, well, duh. But I mean, making sure that you're not running out of things, because that throws you into a panic mode. Therefore, your brain says you're not safe. That's what we're trying to avoid. So if, as we're using things, we can write them down on our grocery list. That's another tip. Have a grocery list, right? On the fridge or wherever in your phone. As we are, using things up, writing them down so that we having the extra toilet paper, because that's a pain to run out of. Having the extra shampoo. Having a little bit of extra coffee because nobody wants to run out of coffee or tea, whatever your thing is. Extra, not necessarily extra milk, but we already have the backup, so there's not a panic. Just being mindful of what you need for the upcoming day or days. Perfect. You have, your meals, you have snacks, you have a little bit extra, you have, some put back, put into a pantry or wherever. Maybe you don't have a whole lot of room, so you've found stash spots. That's perfect. Under your bed, great. In the top of the bathroom cabinet, sweet. All of those things. Just having what you need available. You've got it. You got this. It's handled. Now I touched on, the dining room table earlier. Now, a lot of us have a ton of mail on the dining room table. And a good way to deal with that is, and I know this again is obvious, but is dealing with it when it first comes in the house. Like, you're not checking the mail unless you are going to sit there, go through it, throw the stuff in the trash, throw the stuff in the recycle bin, whatever coupons or magazines or whatever you put in a spot that you're going to look at later. The rest of it, trash. It's off the table. And the best way to avoid having the purse and the jacket and all that stuff around the dining room table is to have designated spots where those things go. So this would go back to that decluttering, part of making sure you have places where things can be put, and the organizing. There is nothing better than knowing exactly where something is going to be that you need. And that's what our home should be. We should be able to have that comfort in knowing where something is, how many of the thing, whatever it is, that we have, of knowing that we have what we need. And that does take effort, but I'm telling you, it is so worth it to have that home that feels like a hug. I know it sounds kind of silly, but it's true. You want your home to be the place that you want to be more than anywhere else. And yes, on this channel, I generally talk about, different budgeting, frugal living, and whatever. There is nothing more frugal than making your home a place where you want to be. The place you want to be the most. The goal is to make your home a place that you don't need to escape from, because it's such a fulfilling thing. Knowing that there's food for meals, it's clean, there's a clean bed to sleep in with warm covers. There's at home, you have your favorite coffee creamer, you have your favorite coffee, your favorite tea, all of those things. You don't have those on vacation. That's something that people don't think about, is all of these lovely things that you have, or just the feeling, you get out of the shower and you get into your, you've washed your sheets that day or whatever, and you get into your covers and, oh, you're so warm and cozy. That really doesn't happen on vacation. I mean, it could, but it generally doesn't. That's a home thing. And yeah, like I said, there is nothing more frugal and nothing that will help your finances more than making your home where you want to be. That's going to be different for everybody. But I want to show you a couple of my favorite rooms in this house. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope I gave you a little bit, some ideas. I know they weren't earth-shattering ideas, but at the same time, we all need a reminder here and there, and some of us get so wrapped up in living that we don't think about, just the things that are kind of in our face. And so if you have any ideas about making your house the place you want to be, definitely leave them in the comments. And remember, it is not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. And the best way to keep it is to make sure you're not blowing a whole bunch of money because you don't want to be at your house. So your house is where you want to be. All right. Thank you guys. Give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next video. All right. Bye.